episode number 154.
Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because #ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. When I was talking to my client this week, she was sharing with me that some things have happened in her current role at her current company that is leading her to feel like the move that she's been thinking about has now become urgent. So we started working together a few months ago. And at that point, she was saying, I really want to make a move. I've been wanting to make a move for some time. And I think I now need to pay attention to that feeling. And I now need to figure out what my next step is. Different things have transpired over the last few months, and she's got to the stage now where she's like, no, I really have to go. There are some things that have happened and it's time. But what she mentioned, and what I really want to emphasize today, is she said she's so happy that she started this journey a few months ago, because now she feels like she has the foundation to figure out what the next move needs to be. And she doesn't want to just jump from this role into any role. She wants to move into the right role. And because she started the process of figuring that out already, she feels like she's in a much better position to make decisions going forward than if she hadn't started that process and experienced what she's experiencing right now. And so the reason why I want to talk about that today is because I hear from people a lot of the time who know they're not happy in their current role, who know that they could be experiencing more, who know that they feel undervalued or overlooked in their role, that they are just going to wait. They are going to wait for COVID to be over, or they're going to wait until they feel more confident, or they're going to wait until they have a little bit more experience before they tackle the question, what am I going to do next in my career? And I think that approach and that perspective is not serving you fully, because when people say, I'm just going to wait, it's almost like they just park the idea and say, I know I want to make a move. I know I'm going to make a move, but I'll deal with that later. But the problem with that is, I will deal with that later, is, have you really thought about what is going to be required in order for you to make the transition that you want to make? Because right now, you're probably at the stage where you feel a bit uncomfortable. But if you're not yet at the place where you're like, okay, I have to go, you're tolerating your current position. You're tolerating it, knowing that you don't want to be there, you're tolerating it. But if things aren't bad enough for you to say, okay, I absolutely need to go now, you're in the position where you can show up, you can do what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. You feel unsatisfied, but that's how you feel. But when you're saying, I'm just going to wait until later, what is going to be the catalyst for you? What is going to be the catalyst for you to actually pay attention to what is required to make the transition? The likelihood is, if you've been in the role for a long time and you're not taking any action around feeling dissatisfied, you haven't done anything to make a move, something probably quite big is going to have to happen in order for you to actually step into it, right? So it's either going to be maybe redundancy is on the cards, or furlough, or restructure, or something big is going to happen that's going to cause you to say, oh, now I really need to get my act together. Now I really need to figure out what my next move is. But the problem, if you're waiting until then to figure out what that next move looks like, is that when you're in a state of, oh, I really need this out right now, there is a sense of urgency that means that you're not going to have the headspace to really think about what is the best move, but rather you're just going to think, okay, I just need to jump into something new. So what will happen is you'll end up looking for a role that's probably very similar to what you're doing already. You're going to move into something that feels easy for you to transition into, because you've just got to find something. So if you're in a place where it's like, okay, I need to do something now because I'm experiencing potential loss of my current role, then the decision that you make is going to be different than the type of decision that you make from a place of, I have options. And here's why. Like, if you've heard of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are different needs that need to be met for us as humans. And on the very basic level, there are physiological needs. So our need for water, for food, for security, that's at the base level. So when you don't have those things, when you don't have those basic things ticked, it's really hard for you to consider anything else. So when you look at the pyramid, when you look at the hierarchy, right at the top of the hierarchy is self-actualization. And that's where you're looking at becoming the best version of yourself. But you can't even think about, contemplate, consider, pay attention to becoming the best version of yourself when your basic needs are not met. And there's various categories before you get up to the top of the pyramid. So you should go and check it out if you haven't seen it before. But if you're in a place of, I need to make sure that I am secure, I need to make sure that I have income so that I'm able to buy food and able to maintain my shelter. If you're in that place, it's really hard for you to think about, well, what would I want to do in an ideal world? Or what would I really want my career to look like? Because you go into that mode where it's like, okay, I just need to secure the basic. So if you're in a position where you're in a role right now and you know that you're not happy, why wait until there is a circumstance where you have to figure out the next move and you're not going to have the headspace to really think through, what do I actually want to do? So what I'm saying is, instead of saying I'm going to wait until later, really ask yourself, what am I waiting for? And does it make more sense for me to pay attention to this now rather than putting it off till later? Another one of my clients that I worked with last year, when we first started working together, she had just been furloughed and she didn't really know what was going to happen in terms of her firm and whether she was going to go back, but she knew that she didn't really want to go back. So she had two options. She could either wait it out, see what happened after furlough and see what happened when she went back to her firm and then figure it out later. Or she could take the opportunity and the time that she had available to really map out what her next move would be. So she decided to take the opportunity and she came into my program and she was working through really figuring out, what do I want? What do I want for my career? Who am I? What's important to me? What am I looking to create in my career in the short and in the long term? And asking herself all of those hard questions and really figuring out what was right for her next. So she started that process. And as we were going through that process, halfway through, she was made redundant. She took voluntary redundancy. And what she said was, I'm so glad that I started this process before, because I feel confident that when I take voluntary redundancy, I will know what I need to be doing next. I'm not starting on the back foot, because I'm ready. I'm ready to start applying. I'm ready to put myself out there. And within the space of 4 weeks of her being made redundant, she'd landed a new role, and not just any role, a role that she was excited about, a role that was different from what she was doing before, a role that fully aligned with her values and what was missing for her in the role that she was in, a role that really ticked the boxes. So had she not started the process when she did, it's likely that she would have just jumped into a very similar role once she took voluntary redundancy. Right? So that her story just really illustrates what I've been saying, in that you really have to think, why am I putting it off? Do I really want to do it? Because if you're saying you want to make a move, ask yourself why. And if you have a valid reason for wanting to make a move, why not pay attention to that now? And why not start taking the steps? Because the reality is, if you want to move into something new, and it's not just about, jumping from this role into another role, like the exact same role within another company, if it's about you figuring out what your next step is and what you actually want to do in the long term, that takes time. That isn't like a quick scroll a job board, see a job, apply for it, land it. There's a whole process that has to happen in order for you to have the clarity around, what do I actually want to do? What do I actually want to do with my career? How can I take control of my career rather than just doing what I think I should do and just following the path that I've always been on? How do I take a step back, take a step off the treadmill, and really assess where I want to go with this? That takes time. There's a lot of introspection that needs to happen. There's a lot of reflection. There's a lot of research. There's a lot of, positioning that needs to happen in order for you to attract the right type of opportunity. The data method, which helps you to define exactly what it is you want to do. It helps you to align your existing experience so you can see how that experience fits in with what you want to do. And then create a transition plan. So how am I actually going to make this transition? And then lastly, how do I attract the opportunities that I've identified that I want? Like there's a lot of things that go into that. So if you're just saying, I'm just going to figure this out later, the question is, are you really going to figure it out later? And do you know what is required to for you to figure it out? And when are you going to do it? When are you actually going to do it? So I want to just encourage you that if you have been putting things off, and if you have been saying, yeah, I will figure this out later, but you find yourself going back to that place of, I feel frustrated, I know I don't want to do this, I know I want to do something else, and you're asking yourself on a daily basis, like, there has to be more to life than this when it comes to the work that I do. If that is repeating, if that is something that you're going back to time and time again, then it's probably time for you to pay full attention to what your next step needs to be. And when I'm talking about making a move, it doesn't always have to be a huge leap. Like, it could just be you change practice areas, or you change from one firm to another, or it could be that you make a bigger move, but you need to figure out what that is. Like, what is the problem? Why is it that you're not happy where you are right now? And then once you identify that, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because time is moving, right? And we know from all that we've been through over the last year in terms of the pandemic that there's so much that is uncertain. And so when we're just waiting for certain events to happen, or waiting to see what is going to happen, anything could happen, but you do have control over some things. So take control of the things that you have control over. And if you know that you're not happy in your career, then let's do something about it. Nothing lights me up more than seeing a client who's feeling confused and like really upset and really not enjoying their day-to-day go from that place to, I am so excited about the role that I just landed. Or like a client the other day was like, I've been in this role for a year. I'm so glad that I made this transition. I've been promoted and it is all good. Like, hearing that like makes me so happy. But the flip side of that is, it's really, I know for me, I'm like, come on, we can move forward when people are like, I know I want to make a change, but like, I'll just see how it goes. And then I check in with them a year later and it's like, same old, I think I haven't made a move. So if you have been procrastinating, like, here's your call from me to like take some action and start really paying attention to it. And if you're somebody who is saying, yeah, but I don't know what type of action to take, and I don't know how I would move forward, and I need support with that, then it is really about recognizing that you don't have to just wait on circumstances, and instead you can create what your next step is. Like, you can be proactive, you can put yourself out there, you can make a decision. You can just make a decision that this is no longer what you're going to do, and then let your action follow from there. Decision. So important. All right, that is all I have for you. Are you ready to make bold career moves? Are you tired of coasting in a role or career that is no longer a good fit for you? Are you ready to create more of an impact through the work that you do? And are you ready to get paid more and be recognized for your brilliance? If you are nodding your head or saying yes to any of those questions, then lean in, because I'm about to tell you about my newly enhanced coaching program. The Career Changemaker program, formerly known as the Career Clarity Academy, is my signature coaching program, which is a transformational coaching experience focused on helping you to develop and advance in your career. The program will help you to clarify the type of career move that you need to make next, create an unapologetic vision for your career direction, and leverage your existing experience so that you can make the transition as quickly as possible. It's also going to equip you to articulate your value so that you can really shine and attract stellar opportunities and negotiate those amazing offers. We want to be moving you into the right role that you're really excited about as quickly as possible. I created this program and the Career Changemaker method because it pains me to see so many amazing, brilliant, talented women fall into the category of coasting female professional. And what I mean by that is there are women who are coasting through their day-to-day at work, who are complaining to loved ones about the work that they do and the environment that they're in, who are scrolling job boards looking for inspiration but not taking any action, who typically do what others think they should do rather than what they really want to do, and who feel trapped in the careers that they've built for themselves. What I really want to see is more women adopting the career changemaker status. A career changemaker is the type of woman who makes an impact through the work that she does, who is excited to talk about her upcoming projects, who knows how to network strategically to create new opportunities, who is unapologetic about what it is they want to do and why it is they want to do it,
who recognizes new opportunities during seasons of change, and who is really ready to take control of her career so that she can become a trailblazer in an area that she's really passionate about. If you like the sound of becoming a career change maker, then I invite you to make an application for this program. Now, it is an application only program because I want to ensure that only the women who I know can get results will join this program so we can hit the ground running and move you to where it is you want to be. So if this sounds good to you, make an application. You want to head over to lightboxcoaching.com/program, PROGRAM. And there you're going to book a call with me and be directed to a career change assessment. Once you take the assessment, you're going to identify where it is you need to focus in the career change process. And we will have a discussion to see if the program is a good fit for you to get you there and whether you are a good fit for the program. The investment for this program is going up on the 1st of December 2021. So if you are listening to this before that time, I encourage you to book a call, make an application as soon as possible so that you can get in at the current rate. So head over to lightboxcoaching.com/program. I look forward to hearing from you. If you enjoyed listening to today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the show so that you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. Also, I would love to know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. I invite you to head over to our Career Changemaker community over on Facebook so that we can continue the conversation over there. Head over to lightboxcoaching.com/join and it will direct you straight to the group. I look forward to seeing you there.